Alrighty then. A regular meeting of the City Council being held remotely via Zoom on Thursday, October 14 at 7 p.m. for the purpose of transacting any and all business. Notice of this meeting was posted on October 12, 2021 at 9:27 a.m. This meeting is being recorded and live on SATV and Facebook. Counselor absent is Counselor Hapworth. Council President Madore presided. Counselor Turiel moves to dispense with the reading of the record of the previous meeting. All those in favor? See 10 hands. All opposed? Matter carries. President Madore requests that everyone please rise to recite the Pledge of Allegiance led by Counselor Turiel.
Okay. Pledge allegiance to the flag.
To the flag.
United
To
States.
the United States. To the republic. Which is
One nation.
under God. Indivisible.
With
With
justice.
liberty. Justice for all.
You. Public testimony, none. Hearings.
We have held from the last meeting of September 23rd, 2021, the order from Verizon Wireless to install telecommunications on Bridge Street.
Anyone from the public appearing in favor, please raise your hand.
Hold on.
I see Mr. Kapantis with his.
You know what? Steve signed up this morning. I didn't print it out and he did sign up for public testimony. So if we can go back to that.
Okay,
I had a few meetings this morning and didn't print it out after I saw it, so.
okay. Councilor
Well,
McCarthy.
Steve, just-
Move to go back in the agenda to public testimony.
Councilor McCarthy moves to return to public testimony on page 3. Seeing no objection, public testimony.
Steve, you can unmute yourself to speak. My apologies.
Good evening. No problems, and thank you very much for moving back so that I could be heard. I appreciate that. Steve Kapantis, 23 Wisteria Street, Salem, Mass. I speak tonight in support of the resolution regarding the Fair Cloth Amendment. The Fair Cloth Amendment, although does not specifically prevent the creation of additional public housing, it does prevent the use of federal funds for the creation of additional housing. Fair Cloth Amendment is in part one of several reasons why public housing has not grown in Salem since 1999. More importantly, it is also part of the reason why public housing in Boston has reduced from 12,000 units down to 9,000. I mentioned Boston because loss of public housing in Boston does apply additional pressures in towns outside of Boston. Repealing or changing Fair Cloth will require support and pressure from a much larger population than just Salem. As councilors, if you are truly supporting this, then I challenge you to do more than just vote in favor of a resolution. There are 350 other cities and towns in Massachusetts, and you should be asking them to bring forward similar resolutions. Simply put, a resolution from 45,000 residents of Salem says something, but a resolution from 351 cities, towns, and 7 million residents says it in a much louder voice. This is a relatively small ask of the members of this council. It would only require each member to make one telephone call per day for the next 30 days. Actions will always speak louder than words. When you vote on tonight's resolution, please consider this not only a vote, but a commitment that you will take action on this matter. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kapantis, for taking the time to provide your testimony tonight. That was the only one, right, Madam City Clerk?
Yes.
Okay. Hearings. So on the order for Verizon Wireless to install telecommunications on 1 Washington Street, or it's Bridge Street, so Councilor Riccardi will have to amend. Do I take up the hearing before the amendment or after?
I would allow Councilor Riccardi to explain what is going on, or one of the members from Verizon Wireless to and then amend.
Okay, Councilor Riccardi.
Thank you, Madam President. Do I need to make my motion first, or can I?
Nope. Just,
Okay. So due to the moving of the location from Bridge Street to 1 Washington Street, I do believe that this order will need to be amended to provide the ability of Verizon to notify the new abutters because of the new location of the pole. So a new map will be submitted, and I will like to move that the public hearing be kept open until the next meeting of October 28th, 2021.
Council Riccardi moved to keep the public hearing open until date certain on October 28th, 2021. All those in favor? Do we need a roll call on this?
you can take one.
Okay, let's do a roll call. Let's see 3 hands for a roll call. Okay, great, thank you. Councilor Dribble, you have a comment.
President, just a point of clarification. The way that this is advertised, it's for a location on Bridge Street. Would we not have to then open a separate public hearing for a totally different address?
That's what we're doing for the 28th.
What I understand is that we're simply continuing this one, but it's still listed as an address on Bridge Street.
Councilor Riccardi just amended it to 1 Washington Street and to keep the public hearing open. I can repeat the motion if that helps. I might have missed that one. Councilor Riccardi moves to amend the address of the installation from Bridge Street to 1 Washington Street, and further moves to keep the public hearing open until October 28th, 2021.
Seconded if that's necessary.
I see a second. All those in favor? Or, sorry, we are doing a roll call. Madam City Clerk, please do a roll call.
Councilor Torrio,
Yes.
Councilor Sargent,
Yes.
Councilor Riccardi,
Yes.
Councilor Kwasniewski,
Yes.
Councilor McPhillo,
Yes.
Councilor McCarthy,
Yes.
Councilor Flynn,
Yes.
Councilor Dominguez,
Yes.
Councilor Dibble,
Yes.
and Councilor Madore.
Yes, on the order to keep the public hearing open for Verizon to install telecommunications as amended from Bridge Street to 1 Washington Street, we have 10 councilors voting, 10 affirmative, 1 absent, the mayor carries. Further hearing.
We have an order from Comcast to install conduits on High Street.
Any members from the public appearing in favor? Mr. Welling.
Okay, Dave, if you can unmute yourself, you're allowed to speak, please.
How's that?
Good.
Sorry. Dave Llewellyn, Comcast, 9 Forbes Road, Woburn, Mass. Like to speak in favor of the Comcast petition to place 80 feet of conduit in the sidewalk on High Street for the purpose of providing service to number 21 High Street.
Thank you. Any other members of the public appearing in favor? Seeing none. Any members of the public appearing in opposition, please raise your hand. Any members of the council? Oh, James Zavalia. Oh,
Yeah. No, James, I know wanted to ask a question, so.
okay.
We allow him to talk.
Mr. Zavalia, go ahead.
Just unmute yourself, James.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm not in question of being opposed or in favor of this, but from what I understand, I live at 25 High Street. Again, my name is James Zavalia. I live at 25 High Street, Salem, Massachusetts. Obviously, this is a couple of houses up. I did have a conduit put in a couple years ago myself. I understand this. But a couple weeks ago, I talked to the people who were actually doing the surveying. And from what I understand, 21 High Street is a historic house. I know that I can't get the information probably from Comcast why it's being put in, but I really would like to know why is there, in the historic house, this is the Kidney House, why are they putting a conduit into there? I mean, what are the intentions of, say, historic, historic New England of why this is happening. Are they going to be having more interactive programs there, which what they've had similar to what the haunted happenings with the Edgar Allan Poe that happened over the last couple weeks? And if that's true, that's what's happening, then what's happening with the, say, parking situation and with the traffic situation there too? I'm not sure if anyone in the council can answer this, and I don't know if Mr. Llewellyn can answer this. Is there any kind of reasoning why it's going in there? Because I thought that with historic houses, sure, they have some electricity, but on something like this, they weren't allowed to have that in there as far as like any kind of conduit.
Could you address that question?
I'm sorry, was that question to me?
I am not certain of the intent for the conduit, whether it's to the house itself, to the address.
Well, the tenants or the owners of that building have requested the Comcast service, so this would be to bring them to service the service. The intent of what they're going to be using it for, it's probably internet, along that line, cable TV. Other than that, they requested the service. I don't know what packages they've, requested, so I really can't answer that.
Thank you. So, Mr. Zavalia, we are only holding the hearing on the conduit itself, and we are not in a position to discuss the use of the property. So, this is not the proper setting for that discussion. So, if you have further comments, whether in favor or opposition, please unmute yourself and make your comments brief before I move on to the next hand raised. Thank you.
Okay, well, again, I just wanted to, I'm really not opposed or in favor of it. Again, I'm just trying to find out what's going on since there has been more people, more events down there, and eventually they do have open houses that do have events. I'm just trying to get an idea, what's it about? If it's for the caretaker house and back, sure, there's no problem with that. But if it's going to be going for a historic house, I thought there were certain parameters which, probably would dictate that you couldn't put some sort of drop in there unless they're doing something interactive, which then again, they're supposed to let the public know, and especially the abutters, what they're going to be doing if they're going to be doing extra activities. Again, because this impacts the street and impacts the residents and impacts the parking. I'm just bringing this up as a precautionary to the council so that eventually, if something does happen, I'm not sure if they will be coming in front of the council or not, or I'd have to go to Historic New England directly. But I'm just giving this almost as a little bit of a warning. Well, not so much as a warning, but more as a point of information so that we can actually be all on the same page at some particular point. I understand Ms. Falana is just putting in the conduit, but again, I'm not sure if there are going to be any kind of ramifications or anything later on that affects the residents in the neighborhood, which would then come under the aegis of the council. That's it. That's all.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Zavalia. And
thank you for your time.
Thank you. I'm going to recognize Mr. David Dwiggins.
Mr. Dwiggins, if you can unmute yourself and you'll be able to state your name and address for the record, please.
Absolutely. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yeah. Hi, I'm David Dwiggins. My address is 267 Pratt Street in Mansfield, Massachusetts. I'm appearing on behalf of Historic New England. I'm the Chief Information Officer, and I can address some of these questions that you have. We have requested service at that address. It is the Gedney House, primarily right now because we're modernizing telecommunications that support the alarm systems at that site. We're moving away from copper telephone lines that are gradually being phased out by the telephone companies, and are moving toward telephone and internet being provided over one line, and have standardized on Comcast as our provider for most sites. And so this is an attempt to put in basically at Gedney House what we already have at Phillips House up the street, and to have the same baseline services there. There is no immediate plan for any change in programming beyond what's already being planned by the organization. Certainly nothing drastic. We do, are always looking at new ways that we can serve the public. And if you go to some of our sites, you will see that we've started to put in some interactive kiosks and things like that. And it's possible that at some point we may look at doing some things like that at Gedney, but even that I don't think would drastically change the, parking requirements or any other public requirements for the site. If there are questions about that, though, we would be absolutely happy to engage with it. Melinda, who's the site manager, who's based out of Phillips up the street, would absolutely be happy to answer questions about the programming and so forth at that site. But as far as the immediate need, this is really just to support infrastructure that we need to keep the house safe and protected.
Thank you, Mr. Driggins. Sorry. I didn't realize my computer was not getting power. I'm good, though. I'm good. I'm good. All right. So any further members of the public who wish to speak in favor or opposition, please raise your hand. Seeing none, Councilor DeVoe.
Thank you, Madam President. I first want to thank Mr. Dwiggins for being here tonight and for all that he and his agency does to help preserve the Gedney House. Beautiful house. I'm going to be voting in support of this tonight, but I have a question that if I can ask through you, Madam President, to the applicant. It looks like the conduit comes from a point in front of number 25 High Street and runs across number 23, across in front of two driveways, and then enters into the Gedney House at 21 High Street. And it looks like the entire way is bituminous concrete, so it's asphalt sidewalk the whole way. I just want to make sure there's not going to be a trench going in there, that the sidewalk will be replaced to the full width of the sidewalk. Just putting in trenches, as occasionally is done, winds up becoming unsightly and tripping hazards. So if the applicant can just address what they're proposing to do to replace the sidewalk. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Flewelling. Could you address that?
Yes, Comcast will replace the sidewalk from the vault, the existing vault, the takeoff vault, down to the entry point to the building. We'll replace the sidewalk.
In the entire width?
Yes.
Madam President, I'd like to so move that a condition be placed, because it's not shown clearly on the plan, that seeing that they've already agreed, that the work, I move to amend it, that the work include replacing of the bituminous concrete in the full width of the sidewalk.
Place concrete. The sidewalk. Right, so Councilor DeVoe moves to add a condition for Comcast to replace the full width of the concrete sidewalk.
I'll second it.
I'm sorry, Madam President, if I may.
Go ahead.
To be clear, it is not concrete sidewalk, it is bituminous concrete sidewalk.
Bituminous, okay. In bituminous. Councilor DeVoe moves to amend this order to add a condition for Comcast to replace the full width of the sidewalk in bituminous concrete. That's satisfactory to you? Seconded by Councilor Turiel. All those in favor? I see 10 hands. Thank you. Councilor Turiel.
Thank you, Madam President. Just one clarification, because I know the question just came up. In general, historic properties can bring in any utilities they want. There's no restriction that they can't bring in a conduit for internet service or whatever have you. If you're doing exterior changes, you have to have those approved and submitted and approved by the Historic Commission. But outside of that, they're pretty free to do what they need to do to update and modernize their infrastructure. So I just wanted to make sure that was clear for anybody watching or listening.
Okay. Thank you. Any further questions from members of the council? I just saw a hand go up, but I think that was a mistake. Okay, so
There's
was there a hand?
I saw the same thing.
It's James.
Yeah. James keeps puts his hand up and then it goes down. I don't know if he has another. Okay.
So, Mr. Zavela, I've allowed you to speak twice on this item, on this matter, so we do have a long agenda ahead of us. If you want additional information on the property's planned uses, please reach out to Mr. Dwiggins or the building inspector. So I'm going to move on. Thank you. And I'm going to call on Counselor McCarthy for the motion. Counselor McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the hearing be closed by roll call vote.
Counselor McCarthy moved the hearing be closed by roll call vote. Seeing no further discussion, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Torrio,
Yes.
Counselor Sargent,
Yes.
Counselor Riccardi,
Yes.
Counselor Presniewski,
Yes.
Counselor Marcillo,
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy,
Yes.
Counselor Flynn,
Yes.
Counselor Dominguez,
Yes.
Counselor Dibble,
Yes.
and Counselor Madore.
Yes. On the motion to close the public hearing, we have 10 counselors voting, 10 affirmative, 1 absent. The hearing is closed. Counselor McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. I further move that the matter be granted by roll call vote.
Counselor McCarthy moved that the matter be granted as amended by roll call vote. Seeing no further discussion, Madam City Clerk.
Counselor Torrio,
Yes.
Counselor Sargent,
Yes.
Counselor Riccardi,
Yes.
Counselor Presniewski,
Yes.
Counselor Marcillo,
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy,
Yes.
Counselor Flynn,
Yes.
Counselor Dominguez,
Yes.
Counselor Dibble,
Yes.
and Counselor Madore.
Yes. On the order to grant the installation for conduit on High Street, we have 10 counselors voting, 10 affirmative, 1 absent. The matter carries. Further hearings.
We have an order from Starbucks at 136 Canal Street for extended hours of operation from 5 a.m. to 11 p.m., 7 days a week.
Any members of the public appearing in favor of this petition? Mr. Brennan.
Yes. Hi, Madam Counselor, council members. My name's Dan Brennan, 8 Stonegate Lane, Salem, New Hampshire. I handle permits and licenses for Starbucks. We just had a store recently open up last week over on Canal Street. We met with the licensing board requesting hours of operation 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. We were informed that we needed extended hour approval from the council to open up at 5 a.m. So that's what we're here to get your approval.
Thank you, Mr. Brennan. Any further members of the public who wish to appear in favor? Seeing none. Any members of the public appearing in opposition? Seeing none, Councilor Turiel.
Thank you, Madam President. I just have one question for Mr. Brennan. I have no issue with this, but I'm wondering, I know there's still some parts of the path in there blocked off, including the accessible ramp, and I was wondering what the timetable is for having that completed, because the store opened without that ramp being fully operational yet.
I was unaware that the ramp wasn't accessible. I know that the patio was closed. I didn't notice the ramp, but
There's a ramp. Yeah, there's a ramp into the patio area from the front that is still shut.
I'll make sure that happens ASAP for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Dominguez.
Thank you, Madam President. I also, I'm in favor of this, but I just wanted to ask a couple of questions to Mr. Brennan, if I may. What is the hour operation now that you have? That's one question. And the second question is, are you aware of where the other businesses time of operation, hour operation on the same area, like for example, Dunkin' Donuts right over there, and also a donut and other businesses nearby?
I'm not sure what the other businesses have for hours. Our hours are really reduced right now. We've got low staff. So I think right now we're actually closing at 4 until we get our members completely trained and fully staffed. We request broad hours, if allowed, to 11 p.m., but and realistically, we'll probably be closing at 9 p.m. We try to keep the flexibility open so we don't have to keep coming back to the boards for approval. But we do want to open up at 5 a.m. because that's prime coffee time.
Any, if I may, follow-up question. Any truck or any other type of operations matter that might imply some noise at that time to change the sleeping time of the neighbors surrounding you guys? Any deliveries at that time that you know, 5 a.m.?
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
Will you have any type of deliveries or any type of trucking coming early in the morning to your locations when you open up the business?
Our deliveries typically actually happen at night, not in the morning time. But I'm not sure on the exact timing, but it won't be happening at 5 a.m. That's for sure.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. I'll just point out the one place the Dunkin' Donuts right across the street opens at 5. And they've been doing that for years and years.
Thank you. Any further comments from members of the council? Mr. Sargent.
Thank you, Madam President. Just curious, as you mentioned, night deliveries. Can you give me any idea what time the deliveries will be at night, please?
I'm honestly not sure. We have a delivery truck that hits a lot of stores. So I don't know that time. It's not going to be changed by our operational hours going from 6 to 5 a.m. I'm sorry, I just can't give you a definite number on that.
Well, you have to let us know because there's certain hours that aren't allowed by law. And neighbors have the right to reasonable peace and quiet after a certain time at night. So you have to check city ordinances and make sure you don't violate them as far as late night deliveries, regardless of what the route is for your trucks.
Okay. Do you happen to know what the forbidden hours are for delivery so I can make sure we abide by that?
I believe it's 11 p.m. to 6 or 7 a.m. And yeah, no. I'm also, Madam President, if I will, a little worried about, there's a lot of businesses on Canal Street and some close to neighborhoods, some not. And I'm just a little worried about going an extra hour. I know businesses have 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. That's a lot of hours, and our residents only have from 11 p.m. till 6 a.m. for a chance at reasonable peace and quiet. So I'm always worried about the neighborhoods when these things happen. So I just want to keep that in mind. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments? Councilor Terrio, you still have your hand up, or that was from before? Okay. Seeing none, Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the public hearing be closed by roll call vote.
Councilor Terrio moves that the public hearing be closed by a roll call vote. Seeing no further discussion, Madam City Clerk.
Councilor Terrio?
Yes.
Excuse me. Just to clear, this is on the public hearing being closed, right?
Correct.
All right. Okay. Yes. Thank you.
Councilor Sargent?
Yes. Yeah.
Councilor Riccardi?
Yes.
Councilor Kwasniewski?
Yes.
Councilor Marcello?
Yes.
Councilor McCarthy?
Yes.
Councilor Flynn?
Yes.
Councilor Dominguez?
Yes.
Councilor Dibble?
Yes.
And Councilor Madore?
Yes. On the motion to close the public hearing, we have 10 councilors, 10 in affirmative, 1 absent. The hearing is closed. Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that this petition be granted by roll call vote.
Councilor Torrio move that this be granted by roll call vote. Seeing no further discussion, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Torrio,
Yes.
Councilor Sargent,
No.
Councilor Riccardi,
Yes.
Councilor Prosnowski,
Yes.
Councilor Marcello,
Yes.
Councilor McCarthy,
Yes.
Councilor Flynn,
Yes.
Councilor Dominguez,
Yes.
Councilor Dibble,
Yes.
and Councilor Madore.
Yes. On the motion to grant the order, we have 10 councilors voting, 9 in the affirmative, 1 in the negative, and 1 absent. The mayor carries. Thank you. Appointments and reappointments.
We have the mayor's appointment of the following to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund Board with terms to expire on October 4th. That's not right. Hold on. Hold on. On October 14th, 2023 is, that was a typo, for Christopher Malmstrom and Linda Fairbanks Atkins.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that these matters be held under the rules.
Councilor McCarthy moved that these be held under the rules. Matters held. Wait, do we have to vote on that? Sorry, I had a long day. Okay, thank you. Further appointments and reappointments.
We have the mayor's appointment of Anthony Delaney to the position of purchasing agent for the city of Salem with a term to expire January 31st, 2023.
Councilor McCarthy.
Since we really need this position filled, and I believe he's already getting his, Mr. Delaney's actually already in trying to figure out the whole purchasing agent position. I really think that we should suspend the rules and move to appoint him to make sure we can get this job done, because it's a key position in the city when we go for procurement of anything. So I move to suspend the rules.
Councilor McCarthy moves to suspend Rule 29C. Is it 29C? Wait. I always forget this. 28, no. That's the public testimony one.
I think it's 29A.
29A. Yeah, you're right. Thank you. Councilor McCarthy moves to suspend Rule 29A. Seeing no objection, Councilor McCarthy.
I further move that Mr. Delaney be appointed by roll call vote, and then we invite Mr. Delaney to come into the next meeting. So if anyone does have any questions for him, I mean, from his resume, he's immensely qualified, and I really believe that we need to jumpstart this, getting him in the position that he needs to be in.
Agreed. Thank you. Councilor McCarthy moved to confirm the appointment by roll call vote. Seeing no further discussion, Madam City Clerk.
Councilor Torrio,
Yes.
Councilor Sargent,
Yes.
Councilor Riccardi,
Yes.
Councilor Prosnowski,
Yes.
Councilor Marcello,
Yes.
Councilor McCarthy,
Yes.
Councilor Flynn,
Yes.
Councilor Dominguez,
Yes.
Councilor Dibble,
Yes.
and Councilor Madore.
Yes. On the confirmation of Anthony Delaney to the position of purchasing agent, we have 10 councilors voting, 10 affirmative, none negative, 1 absent. The matter carries. Communications from the mayor.
We have, I'm sorry, just looking how many, 4 money matters referring to receipts received for Park and Rec Golf Course in the amount of $6,821.34. Another for $6,500 the golf course for groundskeeping supplies. We have one for $3,700 for repairs to the John Deere tractor. And I'm sorry, and the maybe we should only do those 3. I didn't realize I put them all 4 together, but maybe we should stop at the 3 because the 4th one is police.
So
Right.
moved.
Okay.
Thank you. Counselor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for suspension of the rules.
Counselor Terrio moves to suspend the rules. Seeing no objection, Counselor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for adoption by roll call vote.
Counselor Terrio moves for adoption by roll call vote under discussion. Counselor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. Briefly, these are 3 expenditures related to the golf course. One is to deal with an increased cost on a new piece of equipment that we've already authorized. One is for repair on existing equipment, and then one is to deal with some increases in utilization for antifungal and fertilizer that they need, basically because of the heavy rains this year. So they're small amounts and fairly routine.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, on Counselor Terrio's motion to adopt by roll call vote, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Terrio.
Yes.
Counselor Sargent.
Yes.
Counselor Riccardi.
Yes.
Counselor Presnowski.
Yes.
Counselor Morcillo.
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy.
Yes.
Counselor Flynn.
Yes.
Counselor Dominguez.
Yes.
Counselor Dibble.
Yes.
And Counselor Madore.
Yes. On the 3 appropriations for the golf course, we have 10 counselors voting, 10 affirmative, 9 negative, 1 absent. The matter carries. Further communications from the mayor. We're taking up the.
We have an order that the sum of $3,598.32 is hereby appropriated in the Retirement Stabilization Fund for retroactive wages to retired officers of Salem Police Patrolmen's Association.
Counselor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for suspension of the rules.
Counselor Terrio moves to suspend the rules. Seeing no objection, Counselor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for adoption by roll call vote.
Counselor Terrio moves for adoption by roll call vote under discussion.
Thank you, Madam President. If we read our packets, this is because of the retroactive wage increase. We had 3 officers retire during this window, so a small amount of money goes out to them because they're also contained by this settlement.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Terrio.
Yes.
Counselor Sargent.
Yes.
Counselor Riccardi.
Yes.
Counselor Morcillo.
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy.
Yes.
Counselor Flynn.
Yes.
Counselor Dominguez.
Yes.
Counselor Dibble.
Yes.
And Counselor Madore.
Yes. On the appropriation for the sick leave buyback, we have 10 counselors voting, 10 affirmative, 9 negative, 1 absent. It carries.
Nine counselors. Counselor Presnowski recused himself.
Oh, okay. On the appropriation, we have 9 counselors voting, 9 in affirmative, none in the negative, 1 recused, and 1 absent. The matter carries. Further communication from the mayor.
We have an order pursuant to Master and Law, Chapter 44, Section 64, to pay for a previous invoice for the city clerk council advertising invoice to be paid from this year's fiscal year 2022 department budget in the amount of $3,298.83.
Counselor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for suspension of the rules.
Counselor Terrio moved to suspend the rules. Seeing no objection, Counselor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. I further move for adoption by roll call vote.
Counselor Terrio moves for adoption by roll call vote. Under discussion, Counselor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. Of course, the city clerk is in this if there was any real questions, but basically this is for a bill that nobody ever got. And it was after the year deadline passed. So this is for advertising expenses that we incurred in the previous fiscal year.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Terrio.
Yes.
Counselor Sargent.
Yes.
Counselor Riccardi.
Yes.
Counselor Presnowski.
Yes.
Counselor Morcillo.
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy.
Yes.
Counselor Flynn.
Yes.
Counselor Dominguez.
Yes.
Counselor Dibble.
Yes.
And Counselor Madore.
Yes. On the appropriation, we have 10 counselors voting, 10 affirmative, none negative, 1 absent. The matter carries. Further communications.
We have an order from the mayor to, we're looking to refund, refunding of bonds dated 10/15/2010.
Counselor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. Move for suspension of the rules.
Counselor Terrio moves to suspend the rules. Seeing no objection, Counselor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. I further move for adoption by roll call vote.
Counselor Terrio moves for adoption by roll call vote. Under discussion.
Thank you, Madam President. This is actually pretty straightforward. We have a bond orders from 2010 that are eligible to be refinanced. We have a further bond order that's going to be issued this year on funds that have been authorized, and we have a chance to roll the remainder of this in with it. And over the 10 remaining years, roughly in the life of this bond, we'll save about $310,000. That's over the overall life of the bond. It's typically, depending on the year and the schedule, the amount that we're saving ranges from $54,900 in the fiscal year 2023 all the way down to $9,700 at the final payment. But it's extra money that we'll be able to bring back in and add to free cash, and be able to increase and lower the rates that we're paying as well. And it's just a little bit extra for us. So it's anytime you can save money like that, you do it.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, on Counselor Terrio's motion to adopt by roll call vote, Madam City Clerk.
Counselor Terrio,
Yes.
Counselor Sargent,
Yes.
Counselor Riccardi,
Yes.
Counselor Presnowski,
Yes.
Counselor Marcillo,
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy,
Yes.
Counselor Flynn,
Yes.
Counselor Dominguez,
Yes.
Counselor Dibble,
Yes.
and Counselor Medora.
Yes, on the order, we have 10 counselors voting, 10 in the affirmative, none in the negative. On absent, the motion carries. Madam City Clerk, you said that we might need to take,
Yeah, he's joining us now. He just emailed me. So if you, he's joining the meeting at this moment. So I don't know if you want to do the next one or if you want to wait for him to log on.
we will,
Yeah, we can start the, pick it out of order and start it.
we can do, wait. Let's finish page 10.
Okay. We have an order pursuant to City Ordinance, Chapter 1, Section 1-11, Safety Enhancement Zone Violations and Penalties. The City Council hereby orders that the Safety Enhancement Zone designation date shall be extended as provided in Section 1-11, B, subsection B, number 3, to include Friday, October 22nd, 2021 at 12:01 a.m. and Thursday, October 28th, 2021 at midnight, thereby establishing the dates of safety enhancement zone designation from 12:01 a.m. on Friday, October 22nd through midnight on Tuesday, November 2nd.
Counselor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for adoption by roll call vote.
Counselor Terrio moves for adoption by roll call vote. Under discussion.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm presuming this was referred through finance because of the triple fine effect. But this is fairly clear. We have had issues with a lot of issues with people violating our parking regulations and leaving their cars in the street because the $50 ticket is so much cheaper than actually paying to put it in a lot. It was what some of the private lots are charging. So this allows us to actually put some more teeth in it for that extra amount of time, and I think it's absolutely worth doing.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Terrio,
Yes.
Counselor Sargent,
Yes.
Counselor Riccardi,
Yes.
Counselor Presnowski,
Yes.
Counselor Marcillo,
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy,
Yes.
Counselor Flynn,
Yes.
Counselor Dominguez,
Yes.
Counselor Dibble,
Yes.
and Counselor Medora.
Yes. On the order for safety enhancement zone, we have 10 counselors voting, 10 affirmative, none in the negative, 1 absent. The matter carries. I'll take a motion to take matters out of order.
So moved.
You seeing no objection. Page 19, communication. And the action is on page 29, right? So, yep.
We have the following ordinance submitted by the city clerk for redrawing the ward and precinct lines in the city of Salem due to the 2020 federal census. As I noted, the color map was in my office to view, and there has been new language submitted to each council just this evening that I can let Councilor Marcillo speak to if she so chooses. And we also have Michael Owens from the Secretary of State's office joining us tonight in case there's any questions on the boundaries or why things were determined the way they were. It was a lot of work. This is done every 10 years. Some councilors, a couple may have been here 10 years ago with me. I think we raised our hands and said, we won't be here in 10 years, but here we are. But before I just also want to thank everybody from the Secretary of State's office. Our deadline, the 2020 census due to COVID, was extended for more people to try to reply, and the deadlines for the city and town clerks was not, and it was a very short time frame from getting our final descriptive numbers from U.S. Census to when we have to get this approved by the end of the month. This is the first step of two-step process, and I want to really thank very much the people from the Secretary of State's office, John Barr, Yuri Molina, William Palmer, Mike Owens, Brett Sovic, as well as from our own IT department, Rob Banks, Danny, sorry, I can't pronounce your last name, Fried, and Matt Killen and Ollie. Really took a lot of us to do this. I couldn't do it alone. And I just want to thank everybody, thank the councils for their input as well. And again, I'll turn it over to Councilor Marcillo, but if there's any questions, we're here to answer why this has to be done if you have any.
Thank you. Councilor Marcillo.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for adoption for first passage by roll call vote.
Councilor Marcillo moves for adoption for first passage by roll call vote.
I move to waive the reading.
Second.
Thought that was already
Thank
waived. Reading is waived. Under discussion, Councilor Marcillo.
Thank you, Madam President. So as the city clerk just mentioned, everyone got a new copy of the actual text that we'll be voting on tonight. And as she said in the email, that it really was wordsmithing to make it more accurate when it comes to the waterways and the changes that happened there. So the new census showed that we had a lot of growth in Ward 2, our downtown area. And so we had to make some allowances to the nearby wards to accommodate that growth. So there is some change to Ward 1. I think one side of a street was added to Ward 1. There were some changes to Ward 7. There was a change to Ward 3 to include a few more streets down Broad Street and into Winthrop in that area. And there was a change, I think a small change to Ward 4 as well, right on that border where Ward 4 and 6 and 2 come together. So that was really the basic change. And then the waterways, I think the big change, and I think the Ward 2 and the Ward 6 councilors will be very happy that that little piece of land that comes off of Bridge Street is now properly located in Ward 2 instead of in Ward 6, so that the Ward 6 councilor doesn't have to go over the bridge every time she talks to her constituents. So that was the basic gist of it. And I do also want to point out that this was a lot of work in the middle of 2 elections. And so when Ms. Simon says that it was a lot of work, please believe her that she had to finish the preliminary election work, get things in order for the upcoming November 2nd election. And oh, by the way, finalize these maps and make things a little more balanced. And so that is no small task. And it was a huge effort by her and her office. And I hope we were of some help when we came in to look at the maps. So with that, I'm finished.
You yield. All right. Councillor Duvall, thank you.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd have to agree with the good Ward 3 councilor's comments just now. I think the city clerk did a very good job on this. I understand that it's really difficult looking at the census tracts and getting the 14 different precincts roughly balanced in same population. That's a difficult task to do and to apply common sense onto it. The biggest change I saw, and again, it doesn't really affect Ward 7 at all. The precinct line moves slightly, but the ward stays the same. So all the Ward 7 residents will stay in Ward 7. The big change was, as the Ward 3 council just noted, on Bridge Street, but it's actually March Street, at the end of March Street, over the bypass road. That section was like a little island of Ward 6 all by itself. I took the time to go and meet with the city clerk to review all the changes citywide to make sure they were making sense, especially in Ward 7. And I was happy to hear the city clerk brag about correcting that one little change of that island on March Street. So again, applause to our city clerk and our IT department and for the state for getting this map right. It was really well done. I agree with all the changes. They make sense. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councillor Riccardi.
Thank you, Madam President. I would be remiss not to comment that I will miss my little island over on Bridge Street, March Street, portions of Northeast Street. It's a lot more than just a little island. And I am over there often going to Carleton School, so I do enjoy visiting it. But yes, I appreciate all the work and effort that has been put into having it make a little bit more sense. So losing that section for Ward 6, but also gaining an additional, more of a neighborhood over on Boston Street. I think creating that as more of a section, I'm excited to have that join Ward 6. I think that makes a lot more sense. I appreciate the work from the council and the state and all the councilors that have gone in and provided their opinion and feedback. I know multiple eyes and hands on a map and feedback can often be hard to manage. One little change on that map was a pure ripple effect throughout the entire city. So it was not a small undertaking. And I think we have arrived at a really good conclusion here. So I appreciate the efforts and thank you for making this painless for us, but I'm sure it was painful in general. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments or questions for Mr. Owens while he's with us? Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. I'll echo all the comments. I was one of the councils that was there 10 years ago, and the first question I asked, I was actually the last councilor, and so most of the decisions had already been pretty much ironed out. It was a little different back then. We didn't have quite as much technology available to us. And my first question on the map was, what are the stars? And the stars were all existing sitting ward councilors, actually where they live. So you didn't move a ward line through someone's house to actually move the councilor into another ward. And I thought that was pretty funny. But the whole March Street thing came up 10 years ago, and the way that the rules were written by the state back then, the natural dividing boundary was actually the railroad tracks. And so because the March Street goes over the railroad tracks, I know that Eileen and Cheryl tried very hard to get that amended and moved, but it's so hard. It's with the way the rules were written by the state, it was hard to do it back then. And I'm glad that the rules got changed to allow that March Street to come in. I will say that Ward 1 grew a little bit. It grew into Ward 2 a little bit, and we talked about different ways to try to achieve that, but as was just stated, the ripple effect by trying not to divide one of the streets was astronomical. It was by putting it back into 2 just made the whole map go kablooey. So I give everyone credit for trying to find some sensible solutions to try to keep the lines as contiguous as possible and make it make sense. And I want to thank Eileen in her department for all their hard work, and the gentleman from the state who's sitting there at his conference table by himself, waiting for waiting for a big question, but I think that you guys did a great job, and the recommendations seem to make sense.
Any further comments? Oh, Madam City Clerk, go ahead.
I would like to add, and maybe Michael can speak a little bit to it, is that once we do pass this for first and second passage, and every city and town has to submit this back to the state, and it goes in front of the LDRC, the review committee. So all our fingers are crossed, but I'm not sure if Michael can speak to a little bit how that process works and what we did with knowing what my map looks like or our map looks like. If you can give any probability of what the outcome might be or what they will look at as much as March Street has been mentioned,
Sure.
or any other boundaries. I'd appreciate
Sure. Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. And first I want to, can everybody hear me? By the way, okay, good. We've been having some issues earlier in another meeting. But anyway, first I want to apologize for running late. I know, I was a counselor in Braintree a number of years back, and I know how that can add to the already long meeting times. And, I know that you guys put in a lot of time for your community. So I do apologize for running late. But anyhow, I think Clerk Simmons, I mean, you covered it pretty well in terms of the process. Just to kind of give some of the other members of the council some background, our office provides technical assistance if the community chooses that option. And the way that works is we create a draft map based upon the latest census data. And we try to minimize the shifts in the precinct lines and the ward lines, as much, we try to minimize that as much as possible based upon that data. We then provide the draft map to the city, along with the block listing, and the city will provide us any revisions, and we make those revisions at the direction of the city. So, that's kind of how the back and forth works between our office and our office's role. It's really a technical assistance role, and the input comes from you and your knowledge of your community. If the council does move forward and adopt this map, all of the materials have already been prepared with this final version that you have. So then all of those materials would be submitted up to the LEDRC, which is the Local Elections District Review Commission. The Secretary of the Commonwealth, Secretary Galvin, does sit on that commission. He is the chair. There is also an appointee from an appointee by the governor, Representative Brad Jones, and there is an appointee from the Attorney General's office, who is Beth Wong, who is the current appointee from the Attorney General. So it's a 3-member commission, and they review the map. They see that it's in compliance with the requirements of the statute, which are that no precinct can be over 4,000 residents. Every precinct must be within a 5% variance of your average precinct size. So the way that works is you take your city's population, you divide it by the amount of precincts, that will produce an average precinct size, and then no precinct can be 5% up or down from that average precinct size. And additionally, a requirement of the statute, of course, is that minority vote dilution does not occur. And that's really where it's the institutional knowledge of the members of the city, the working group, to kind of ensure that, and to request revisions accordingly to make sure that doesn't happen. Given the process that the working group has gone through, and given that they've considered all of those things, and now that we do have a map, which from our office's eyes, we looked over it, and we do believe it is a map that would pass the Local Election District Review Commission, the LEDRC. So if there were no changes, and if the will of the council were to adopt the map as it is, then I think you should be in good shape for an approval. Once this entire process is finished, meaning the not just for the city of Salem, but for all 351 cities and towns. Once the process is finished, our office will assist the city in providing notification to any residents that may have shifted a ward or a precinct or any residents that were directly impacted by any shifts, just so that they're aware of their new polling place, just so the residents are aware of that. So we do assist with that kind of on the tail end as well. So I think that pretty much covers it, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you, Mr. Owens. Any questions for Mr. Owens or any further comments? Councilor Marcello.
Thank you, Madam President. I just want to make it clear to anyone who's listening that this does not go into effect for this upcoming election. So they don't need to panic. This is for the future, not for this year. Thank you.
Thank you. That's helpful. Any further comments? Okay. Everybody read through the whole thing, looked at the map. When I first saw the first map, I was speechless. So I really want to recognize our city clerk's office for working on this. It's like many of you have already said, not a small task. And as much as I will miss the other parts of Ward 2, going into Ward 3 and Ward 1 and the other wards, I get to hug my ward a little tighter, even though I won't be able to be the counselor anymore. But it gets smaller and smaller.
Councilor Marcello's, some of the streets she picked up were in effect 10 years ago. So you're kind of moving back and forth within some of those same streets. So just from, historical perspective.
All right, seeing no further discussion on Councilor Marcello's motion to adopt for first passage by roll call vote, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Torrio.
Yes.
Councilor Sargent.
Yes.
Councilor Riccardi.
Yes.
Councilor Prosnewski.
Yes.
Councilor Marcello.
Yes.
Councilor McCarthy.
Yes.
Councilor Flynn.
Yes.
Councilor Dominguez.
Yes.
Councilor Dibble.
Yes.
And Councilor Madore.
Yes, on the motion to adopt for first passage, we have 10 councilors voting, 10 affirmative, none the negative, 1 absent. The motion carries. Councilor Marcello.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for immediate reconsideration in the hopes that it does not prevail.
Councilor Marcello moves for immediate reconsideration in the hopes it does not prevail. All those in favor? All those opposed?
Opposed.
See two hands. The matter is not reconsidered. Thank you, Mr. Owens. Hope it's not a long commute for you.
No. Thank you very much. I appreciate you all having me, and thank you for the work you're doing there in Salem. Be well. Take care.
Thank you. Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. I move to return to the regular portion of the meeting on page 11.
Councilor McCarthy moves to return to the regular order on page 11. See no objection. Further communications from the mayor.
In order that the city of Salem hereby accepts section 59A of Massachusetts General Law, chapter 48, to authorize the Salem Fire Department to provide aid to other municipalities.
Let the record reflect that Councilor Flynn has recused himself. And with that, Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for adoption by roll call vote.
Councilor Terrio moves for adoption by roll call vote. Under discussion.
Thank you, Madam President. We have a long tradition, and all fire departments have a long tradition of offering aid to each other. This formalizes it by accepting the state law.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none on Councilor Terrio's motion to adopt matters, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Torrio.
Yes.
Councilor Sargent.
Yes.
Councilor Riccardi.
Yes.
Councilor Prosnewski.
Yes.
Councilor Marcello.
Yes.
Councilor McCarthy.
Yes.
Councilor Dominguez.
Yes.
Councilor Dibble.
Yes.
And Councilor Madore.
Yes. On the order, we have 9 councilors voting, 9 affirmative, 1 recused, 1 absent. None in the negative, the matter carries. Further communications.
We have a resolution calling for repeal of the federal fair cloth amendment.
Counselor Marcello.
Thank you, Madam President. A resolution calling for repeal of the Federal Fair Cloth Amendment. Whereas Section 9G3 of the Housing Act of 1937, adopted by Congress in 1998 and called the Fair Cloth Amendment, prohibits housing authorities from constructing, prohibits housing authorities from constructing, acquiring, and otherwise maintaining any more subsidized or public housing units than they had in 1999. And whereas the Fair Cloth Amendment was one piece of a broader welfare reform movement of the 1990s that attempted to dismantle public assistance programs generally from a misguided position that these programs were a drain on public taxes and detrimental to the economic independence of the program's beneficiaries. And whereas the Fair Cloth Amendment has been one of the largest impediments to the creation of new public housing in Salem and throughout the country, though not the only impediment. And whereas the Salem Housing Authority, because of the Fair Cloth Amendment, has been constrained to around 750 total units of senior, family, and handicapped public housing for over 2 decades, despite serving a community of close to 45,000 people. And whereas over the course of these interceding 22 years, the need for accessible, affordable housing has only increased locally and across the nation to the point where, as of September 2nd, 2021, 14,358 families and 6,318 seniors are on the state's public housing waiting list, facing waits of between 2 and 10 years for housing. And whereas these individuals include Salem residents, seniors, veterans, families, workers, and others who contribute to the fabric and vitality of our community, and whereas Salem as a municipality has strived to expand the ability of nonprofit and private sector partners to create affordable housing to meet that need, with close to 2 of every 5 housing units permitted, under construction, or built since 2016 being affordable, and 2/3 of those affordable at 30% to 60% of area median income. Now therefore be it resolved that the mayor and city council call for the immediate repeal of the Fair Cloth Amendment, the implementation of robust federal funding for construction or acquisition of new public housing sufficient to meet the demand of our residents, and the elimination of other barriers in federal law to the expansion of affordable housing options for our neighbors and would-be neighbors. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be transmitted by the city clerk to Salem's federal delegation, to the U.S. House of Representatives and U.S. Senate, and to the President of the United States. And I move for adoption by roll call vote.
Counselor Marcello moves for adoption by roll call vote. Under discussion. Counselor Marcello.
Thank you, Madam President. I think that this is has long been needed. We hear all the time from residents in Salem that Salem needs to provide more affordable housing. People here know that the list waiting for public housing is so long, and it has to be so discouraging to be a senior in Salem waiting on a list for between 2 and 10 years for an affordable place to live. And you know, it may be true that there's other ways to build affordable housing, but it requires funding. And the federal government just has not provided any funding and uses the Fair Cloth Amendment as a reason not to do it. I think it's high time that the federal government steps up to the plate to help states and municipalities to create so much needed housing. I just can't even stress enough how completely, I don't know, sad isn't even the word. It's just so frustrating to know that so many residents in Salem, in the state, and in the country are looking for and need so badly to live in a safe and affordable place, and instead need to double and triple up in housing because they can't afford to live anywhere else. And so Yes, this is a small move. Yes, it's a resolution and may not have teeth behind it, but it certainly does send a message. And yes, I will be using all of my power that I have to make phone calls to get other communities to do the same thing and to get Representative Moulton's office to step up to the plate and to get our 2 senators to step up to the plate and to fight for more funding and for the ability of states and municipalities to provide much needed housing. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councillor Dibble.
Thank you, Madam President. I think Mr. Steve Kapanis summed it up pretty nicely in public testimony earlier tonight, and I'd have to agree with his comments. There are so many families that are being forced out of Salem and forced to live in unusual circumstances because the cost of housing here in Salem has just skyrocketed the past few years. I think I saw a document that said that Salem's rents have gone up 24% over the last year alone, or the last 12 months. I forget which it said, but it was 24% increase in 1 year is significant. Some of the wording here, I have a little bit of trouble with. I simply don't think the last whereas is a true statement at all. I think that very, very little of what we're creating here in Salem is affordable anything. Downtown, over $1 million for one unit of housing. It's serious money that the average Salem family looking to move somewhere can't afford. The rent's at $3,000, $3,200 plus utilities. That's a lot of money. So when we say 2 out of every 5 units were affordable, it's just not true at all. So when we look at the cost of one unit being at 100%, and we're using 80% of the Boston area median income to declare it as affordable, that translates to 93%. I've said this on the city council floor. You're probably sick of me hearing me say that for the last 3 or 4 or 5 years. It translates to 93%. So if you can't afford 100%, you probably can't afford 93%. So it's not affordable anything. So I'd like to move, and I'm in support of this document. I don't know if it'll have any teeth to actually get, it has no teeth to get anything done. When we could be working with developers that are pro affordable housing and pro affordable senior housing and low income senior housing. But we're not recruiting and not having dialogues with those types of developers. We're just simply building more and more luxury apartments throughout the whole city. So I'd like to move that, and I'll be voting in support of this, but that one paragraph is just simply not true. So I'd like to move that the last whereas, talking about Salem building things that are affordable, we are building a little bit, but not to these levels at all. I'd like to move that the last whereas paragraph be stricken from the resolution.
Councillor Dibble moves to strike the last whereas.
Second.
I don't even know. Seconded by Councillor Dominguez.
Yeah.
And under discussion. Seeing none on the amendment, all those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4. All those opposed? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The amendment does not carry. Further discussion? Any further discussion? Councilor Marcelo.
Thank you, Madam President. I did want to also include in my comments, and I forgot, that the Board of Health on Tuesday also discussed this issue, and noting that safe, affordable housing is a public health issue, they are firmly and enthusiastically supportive of this resolution and any actions to get some movement at the federal level. So I wanted to make sure that I also stated that. And thank you to the Board of Health for taking the time to even discuss this issue and to understand the need for safe and affordable housing in Salem.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
Okay.
Counselor Sargent.
Thank you, Madam President. Of course, I support this for affordable housing, but I do believe 40% affordable since the 2016 is a little bit high of an estimate, but I'll leave it at that and fully support this. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? I'll just briefly say that as someone who works actively with housing authorities every day for my day job, I actually have 5 projects with housing authorities across the state right now. I understand how difficult it is, and I don't even know how to underscore or it's not easy to overstate how difficult it is for anyone to build any housing, let alone 4 or 5 units. It's incredibly hard, not just because of fair cloth, but a variety of reasons. And I also want to point out that fair cloth is not the same as market rate or inclusionary units, local action units. They're 2 completely different animals. So I want to make sure that it's clear to members of the public that it's not fair to make 2 types of affordable housing be on the same level playing field, because it's just completely different. Different funding sources, different approvals, very different. So I fully support this amendment. I know that there was a bill through the House that had this adopted through the House but failed in the Senate, but it's about time we do this. It's a shame that we cap the number of units for a number of housing that we desperately need. It's a no-brainer to me. So I'm really appreciative of Councilor Marcillo and the mayor for filing this. Seeing no further discussion, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll. Motorcycles.
Councilor Torrio,
Yes.
Councilor Sargent,
Yes.
Councilor Riccardi,
Yes.
Councilor Presnewski,
Yes.
Rosillo,
Yes.
Councilor McCarthy,
Yes.
Councilor Flynn,
Yes.
Councilor Dominguez,
Yes.
Councilor Dibble,
Yes.
and Councilor Madore.
Yes. On adoption of the resolution, we have 10 councilors voting, 10 affirmative, none negative, 1 absent. The matter carries. Further communications.
We have the home rule petition for electric bicycles.
Councilor Marcillo.
Thank you, Madam President. Ordered that a petition to the General Court accompanied by a bill for a special law relating to the City of Salem to be filed with an attested copy of this order be and hereby is approved under Clause 1 of Section 8 of Article 2 as amended of the amendments of the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts to the end that following legislation be adopted except for amendments by the Senate or House of Representatives which conform to the intent of this home rule petition as set forth below. Whereas electric bicycle use is continuing to grow rapidly across the United States year after year. Whereas electric bicycles provide an additional source of transportation, particularly in communities that rely on first and last mile transportation alternatives. Whereas electric bicycles expand the accessibility of biking to new audiences, particularly senior citizens or individuals with certain disabilities. Whereas electric bicycles provide a source of exercise for the residents of Salem and operate as a tourist attraction for visitors. And whereas electric bicycles and micromobility are shown to reduce dependence on single occupancy vehicles, reduce overall vehicle miles traveled, and lower aggregate carbon emissions in the transportation sector. Be it enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives and General Court assembled by and by the authority of the same as follows. An act relative to the operation and regulation of electric bicycles in the City of Salem. Section 1, as used in the following paragraph, the words electric bicycle or e-bike shall mean a bicycle that is equipped with fully operable pedals, a saddle or seat for the rider, and an electric motor of less than 750 watts. An electric bicycle is not a motorized bicycle as defined under MGL Chapter 90, Section 1. Notwithstanding Chapter 90 of the general laws or any other general law or special law, rule, or regulation to the contrary, the City of Salem may establish by traffic regulation on public ways under the care and custody of the City of Salem, traffic safety regulations related to the use and operation of electric bicycles. Electric bicycles shall follow the same local ordinances and state law that pertain to the operation of a bicycle on the streets and sidewalks under the care and custody of the City of Salem. Any person 16 years of age or younger operating an electric bicycle in a public way, bicycle path, or any other public right-of-way shall wear a helmet that fits the rider's head and is secured by straps at all times while operating or riding upon an electric bicycle. Section 2, this act shall take effect upon its passage. And I move for adoption by roll call vote.
Councilor Marcelo moves for adoption by roll call vote. Under discussion.
Thank you, Madam President. So this is being put forward to allow the Blue Bikes program to expand to use electric bikes. It's a very successful program, as we've heard recently through the council, and will be expanding to bring in more bikes in the city. And the use of electric bikes, as stated in this resolution, is to allow for longer distances, for seniors, for those with disabilities. And they are not the mopeds and motorized bikes that are riding all over the city and terrorizing many residents. This is a whole different beast. But we do need to have this home rule petition in order to allow them. Thank you.
Thank you. I've seen so many of them downtown. These ones, the e-bikes. Any further discussion? Councilor Dibble.
Thank you, Madam President. A little confused on this because the document says the vehicles be allowed out in the vehicular travel lanes, or whatever it said exactly, up on sidewalks, on the bike paths and bike lanes. This is it's a motorized, it's a motorized bicycle, but we're not calling it a motorized bicycle. We're calling it something different. So it's a little confusing. I think for the safety of the public, we need to know what we're actually approving here tonight. Will these bicycles that have motors on them be allowed in the bike lanes where people are walking? Will they be allowed out on the travel road with cars and trucks? Up on sidewalks, there's sidewalks mentioned on here. I'd like to see this go to committee and just tighten it up with our police department and make sure whatever we're passing here is passed with safety in mind for the public. I'm not in opposition to this, but it's clearly not clear at all in this document.
That a motion?
Yes, it was a move to submit it to committee and invite the police department in to have a discussion on this.
Can you clarify which committee, please?
It would have to go into OLA, Ordinance, License, Legal Affairs.
Councilor Dibble moves co-posted.
Yes, please. Thank you for that offer, Madam President.
Councilor Dibble moves to refer the resolution, or the home rule petition, excuse me, to the Committee on Ordinances, License, and Legal Affairs, co-posted.
Committee of the Whole.
With the Committee of the Whole?
Yep, co-posted.
I second that.
Seconded by Councilor Dominguez. Under discussion. Seeing none on the amendment, on the motion to refer to committee, all those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think that's everybody, right? Just want to make sure I got it before I raise my hand. All right, that's 9, 10. On Councilor Dibble's motion to refer the matter to the Committee on Ordinance, Legal Affairs, co-posted Committee of the Whole. We have 10 hands. The matter is referred. Mayor's informational page none. Motions, orders, and resolutions. Counselor Flynn.
Thank you, Madam President. Ordered that the flag be raised at Raleigh Plaza for the Polish National Independence Day on November 11th, 2021, and I move for adoption by roll call vote.
Counselor Flynn moves for adoption by roll call vote. Under discussion. Counselor Flynn.
Yeah, I just wanted to submit this one. National Day in Poland, it commemorates the anniversary of the restoration of Poland's sovereignty as the second Polish Republic in 1918. This would be 103 years of celebrating this over there, and I think it'd be a nice thing to do for our Polish American Salem residents to fly the flag for one day on their Independence Day. That's all.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Counselor Dibble, and then Counselor McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd just like to thank the Ward 4 counselor for bringing in this, as well as many, many other flag flying requests. I think he'll be missed on this council come next year as he's stepping down. But I think he's doing it in the spirit of the former Ward 4 City Councilor Lenny O'Leary, a friend to many of us. So I wonder who will take up the torch next year. So Councilor Flynn, thank you. With regard to this one, my wife, who I started dating in 1979, I'll show my age a little bit. She is of Scottish, but also Polish descent. I'll be there to help raise the flag with my wife, who has a fine Polish maiden name of Supitkowski.
Spell that.
Yeah.
Thank you. I used to live on Kosciuszko Street. So before I recognize Councilor McCarthy, I'm taking a he might be mentioning. So that date is also Veterans Day. Do we have any flags raised for that day in particular? Should we? I don't know if Councilor Flynn, you had looked into any conflicts with the flag raising.
I did not look into that if there was a conflict. If there is, we can add in there that we can fly the flag the day before if that's an issue, or the day after, whatever would work.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. I would make that motion that we fly it the day before. No disrespect to the Polish National Independence Day. It just happens to fall on Veterans Day. With the utmost respect to our veterans, I think that every flag in the city, on all the city poles, should be American flags, and they should be flown on that day. So, and it's no disrespect to the Polish National Independence Day. It falls on the day it falls on, but in our case, it just happens to fall on Veterans Day. So I think that we can honor them if we fly it, if the good Ward 4 Council accept the amendment and fly it on November 10th, so that the our Veterans agent can make sure all the poles have the American flag on Veterans Day.
Yep, that's fine. I accept that. Totally understood.
Thank you. On the amendment, all those in favor? For November 10th, 2021, all those in favor? See 10 hands.
Are we still under discussion, Madam President?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Councilor Kwasniewski.
I think I would be remiss by not speaking on this, seeing that I'm the only one in my family that was born in this country and came as a direct descendant from my parents who came here in 1952 after the war. I think that flying the Polish flag on November 11th is something that the Polish community is going to be proud of, but I think that the people of Salem should understand that the country of Poland has gone through a lot of changes in those 100 years. And one of them was that it lost its independence after World War II, because it was the only country that was not given its independence by the Atlantic Treaty, and was actually given to the communist government, and lost its independence and became a communist state. And just recently, in the last few decades, has it regained its independence. So I think we may be seeing a little bit more research done and maybe a change next year and when the true Polish Independence Day is. We may have a different day to fly that flag, which of course will not be in conflict with Veterans Day. But my hat's off to Councilor Flynn for bringing this forward, and it'll be a proud day for the Polish Americans who contributed greatly to this city since the early 1900s. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none on the amendment, had 10 hands on that. I believe. All right, the amendment is for November 10th. On Councilor Finn's motion to adopt as amended, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Torrio,
Yes.
Councilor Sargent,
Yes.
Councilor Riccardi,
Yes.
Councilor Presnowski,
Of course, yes.
Councilor Marcillo,
Yes.
Councilor McCarthy,
Yes.
Councilor Flynn,
Yes.
Councilor Dominguez,
Yes.
Councilor Dibble,
Yes.
and Councilor Madore.
Yes. On the motion, we have 10 councilors voting, 10 affirmative, none negative, 1 absent. The motion carries. Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. In City Council Thursday, October 14th, in the year 2021, an ordinance amendment ordinance relative to traffic 42, Section 50B, handicap zones limited time, be it ordained to City Council, City of Salem as follows. Section 1, amending Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicap zone limited time is hereby amended by adding the following: Forester Street, 1 handicap parking space to be added in front of number 9 Forester Street for a distance of 20 feet. This ordinance shall take effect as provided by City Charter, and I move for adoption for first passage by roll call vote.
Councilor McCarthy moves for adoption for first passage by roll call vote. Under discussion, I just briefly say this was requested through a constituent who needed it. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Torrio,
Yes.
Councilor Sargent,
Yes.
Councilor Riccardi,
Yes.
Councilor Presnowski,
Yes.
Councilor Marcillo,
Yes.
Councilor McCarthy,
Yes.
Councilor Flynn,
Yes.
Councilor Dominguez,
Yes.
Councilor Dibble,
Yes.
and Councilor Madore.
Yes. On amendment of the ordinance, we have 10 councilors voting, 10 affirmative, none negative, 1 absent. The motion carries. The next order, do we take it up or Councilor McCarthy?
I'll take it up. They'll just get it into committee, and then they will let the good at-large councilor schedule a meeting. So I'll take it up.
Thank you, Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. Order that the Committee on Government Services, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, meet with the Public Art Commission to discuss and hear about their accomplishments and the impact of their work the Commission has been doing over the past few years. And I move for adoption.
Councilor McCarthy moves for adoption. We need discussion.
I would believe the council, if the Council Happer was here, he'd be wanting to talk about public art and the value that the city puts on public art and the work that the Public Art Commission has been doing to promote public art in a lot of our open spaces, and with the forthcoming ability to apply for grants for funding. I think that we just want to, I think Councilor Hapworth doesn't want to lose sight on their past accomplishments and what they're considering in the future. So I think that would be nice to have them in for a chat to see where they've been, what they've been doing since they've been commissioned, and what their thoughts are with moving forward. So I move that this matter be referred to the committee.
Thank you. Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, on Councilor McCarthy's motion to adopt, all those in favor? See 10 hands, all opposed, the matter carries. Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Sargent, if you could assume the chair.
Yes, Madam President, I'm assuming the chair. Calling on Councilor Madore.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ordered City of Salem, October 14, City Council ordered that the following street be given temporary status as parking prohibitions towing zone resident sticker parking from October 1 through October 31, 2021 to allow parking enforcement staff and police officers to enforce during the month of October. Chestnut Street between Summer Street and Flint Street. Be it further ordered that the fine for violating the aforementioned temporary parking prohibition shall be $50 from Monday through Sunday in the month of October. And I move for adoption by roll call vote.
Thank you, Councilman Madore. On the discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. So this year in particular, resident parking has just been a mess, despite all the efforts that's been put into making sure the streets are posted for October resident parking. And there are many streets that have year-round sticker parking, and Chestnut Street being one of them. So it's created a lot of issues with the different signs that are posted. And last weekend, we had some staff go out and look at whether there's been a lot of parking violations on Chestnut Street, and we did observe that it's been a real issue. The lower part of Chestnut Street has been posted for October parking, so it's the toothpaste analogy from the Ward 1 councilor. You prohibit one street, it squeezes to another. So this is one way to bring the residents some relief. And I'll be working with some of the institutions on Chestnut Street, the Phillips House, and the Hamilton Hall to make sure that their patrons have and their employees have a place to park, despite these signs going up. So thank you all the residents downtown and Ward 2 for their patience. It's been crazy. I've never experienced it in my, 6 years living here. So I just wanted to thank the residents for their patience. And I'll yield.
Thank you, Council Madore. Council President, any further discussion?
Councilor McCarthy has his hand up. I know you can't see everyone. Should I just?
Yes. Could assume the chair because I might have a question as we go on to, and then carry on from there, please. Thank you.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. There's a few streets, and I'd like to add, and I just make a comment before I make the motion to add them, if I could. Part of what we're seeing this year is, I think coming off the pandemic from last year, I think that the council did a nice job with the Parking and Traffic Commission and Mr. Kucharski and having them in and identifying all the streets and making sure that there was a clear roadmap, so to speak, of what streets were going to get posted, how they were going to be posted. And it just seems that, and I call it the marshmallow effect. When you squeeze the marshmallow, it comes out someplace else. And what we're seeing is, it's a supply and demand, and I get supply and demand, but when you have a parking lot, that's now able, once the garage is closed, able to charge $60 for a parking space for the day. I drove by it and I felt like I was going to a major league playoff game or something. I was like $60 to park in Salem, but it's the supply and demand. And if they can get the $60, that's what they're getting. When we as a council moved to raise the resident parking fee from 25 to 50, we even were a little hesitant at that, figuring if if a resident forgot to put their tag up or a friend came over and they got a $50 ticket. But with the price point now seemingly going up on the lots, what it's done is it's making parking more difficult. And so now we're seeing, specifically in the Point neighborhood, is this, the idea of, a parking garage and then a lot beyond the parking garage. The parking garage is full. The lot now is charging, across the Congress Street Bridge, is charging $60. Someone says, I don't want to pay that. Now they're on Congress Street and they're driving through the Point, and all of a sudden they get to the end of the Congress Street and they only have one choice, and it's to take a left. And when they take a left, then they loop back on Perkins or Pingree, and now those streets traditionally haven't been sign residential parking because previously, in previous years, it was the traffic coming off of Lafayette Street that was coming into the point via Dow Street or Peabody Street, and they were circling back on Congress Street, then circling back out. But now that they're being drawn into Congress Street, we're seeing more people parking on the streets that traditionally had never had resident parking. So we're going to try to correct that. We've heard some complaints both via social media, via calls to the mayor's office, emails to Mr. Kucharski. I know I spoke to Councilor Dominguez earlier today. So we're going to look to rectify that situation by putting the signs up. By passing this order tonight, the signs will. I talked to DPS today. The signs will go up tomorrow. Unfortunately, the residents are going to have to realize, that's why I spoke about this, that they will be able to get a resident hanging tag, but obviously they're not going to get one tomorrow unless they decide to go up to the parking garage once we clarify the streets and the addresses. But they will be getting them shortly. But what will happen is when they do call for enforcement, obviously we're going to have them run the plate numbers of the people who are in violation, so we don't inadvertently try to tag a resident. We're just looking to tag people who are violating the resident parking zone that aren't residents or visitors of residents. So all that being said, I'd like to amend the order. Number 2 would be Pingree Street from Levitt to Lynch. Number 3 would be Perkins from Levitt to Lynch. And then number 4 would be Palmer from Congress to Pingree. That's picking up the other part of Palmer Street on the other side of Congress. And then Lynch Street from Congress to Perkins. And then Levitt Street from Congress to Perkins. And I submitted those to the city clerk earlier this evening, so she has those so they can be typed up in the order tomorrow so we can get this done. And once again, as Councilor Madore stated, parking is, we try our best, and, I know we're speaking with the parking department. Starting this weekend, we're going to ramp up the shuttle service. And in doing so, then we're also going to ramp up more enforcement because we did see the complaints in the Derby Street neighborhood. I think one day this past weekend, they went out and handed out 20 citations on Derby Street alone. So we're going to look up to ramp up enforcement, and at the same time, nothing will discourage more people more than ramping up enforcement and seeing a few tow trucks kicking around trying to pull people who violate. So that's the intent, and with that, I will yield the floor.
Councilor McCarthy moves to amend by adding 4 streets, right?
Second.
5.
I missed the 5th one.
There was Pingree from Levitt to Lynch, Perkins from Levitt to Lynch, Palmer from Congress to Pingree, Lynch from Congress to Perkins, and Levitt from Congress to Perkins.
Okay.
It's basically
faster.
I'm sorry. But basically, I went over it with the city clerk. She does have it. But basically, Congress Street basically divides the point. And over the years, the streets that have been added to the program have always been on the between Congress and Lafayette. But we are seeing an influx of people that are coming into the neighborhoods, as stated previously. And this will just pick up all the streets on the other side of Congress.
Okay.
I'd also like to comment about Councilor Flynn's flag with the flag with the Polish, half American, half Polish, in his background. It's kind of neat looking. But I'll yield the floor.
Okay, thank you. Councilor McCarthy moves to amend to add 5 additional streets as received by Madam City Clerk. Do I have a second?
I want to second that, but I wanted to add one more, if I may, and comment something, Madam President.
Can you second so we can?
I second it.
All right.
But I wanted to propose a friendly amendment.
Councilor Dominguez, seconded by Councilor Dominguez. Under discussion, Councilor Dominguez.
Thank you, Madam President. I had to thank the good work, and City Solicitor, also the Traffic Department, Mr. David. Actually, we was in a conversation the whole day because I received a lot of calls from different areas too. But the way that the good councilor one managed the situation, I think that speaks very loud and clear of his experience. I agree that this year we have some some situation that wasn't expected to happen. But I also wanted to ask if this, I know that those parking are private. I don't know if the city can regulate that in a way that even though supply and demand apply, yes, for the future, not for now, that everyone is entitled to make some money. But I think that when the effect is on the residents of Salem because they wanted to make some money, I think that the city had to step up. Maybe we had to create some type of ordinance that control the maximum they can charge, so do not affect our neighborhood. That's what happened basically in the point, and in full agreement with what the good councilor said. That's what provoked in the most part the increase of what we're seeing right now. I also wanted to add Washington Street, because I received call from there for 2 residents. They had the same situation. Even they have meters over there. They actually, people who go to work during the day, when they come back, they cannot find a place to park. They cannot find any parking. So I wanted to add Washington Street to the list, if it's possible to be on it, so we can also provide them some alleviation during these difficult moments on parking. A few people coming to me that really break my heart is that some people don't want to go out. They just stay home because they afraid they can lose parking and they don't have where to park and they cannot pay for a parking fee in any places. So it is a very difficult situation that I think we have to find some type of solution for the future. And I wanted to emphasize that maybe we as a city can provide some type of control. Maybe, I don't know if this is allowed, maybe we had to consult our legal department to see if it's possible, because the consequences are basically in us as a city. So that's what I wanted to bring. I don't know if the friendly amendment that I proposed to add Washington Street can be possible during this conversation right now. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Councilor, can you clarify which block or blocks of Washington Street?
Washington Street from, what is that street? From Harbor Street to what is that? The corner down to the hotel. Heading from Harbor Street, heading down to the new hotel. That small block right there.
Right.
Residents that live right on those buildings, they don't have a place to park.
So the motion on the floor is to amend, to add the 5 streets as proposed by Councilor McCarthy. So I'll entertain additional discussions on that and we can take a vote and then move on to Councilor Dominguez's amendment. Any further discussion on the 5 streets? Councilor Sargent.
Thank you, Madam President. Just want to be clear. We're going to vote on the 5 from Council McCarthy and then any other amendment come forward so we don't confuse amendments, right?
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, on Councilor McCarthy's motion to amend, second by Councilor Dominguez, all those in favor? See 10 hands, all opposed. The motion carries. And on Councilor Dominguez's motion to further amend, adding Washington from Harbor to Dodge.
Yes, I'm trying to locate it on a map.
Dodge.
Dodge, yeah, that's what it is, Dodge Street.
Harbor to Dodge. East side only?
Yeah.
East side only. Is there a second? So the motion is to add Washington Street between Harbor Street and Dodge Street, east side only. Is there a second? Seconded. Is that
Second.
it? Seconded by Counselor DeVoe. Under discussion? Counselor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd note that a number of the spaces leading up to Dodge Street are metered. So
Yeah, I was going to say the same, that
I don't know how that could work. It's a small number of spaces, and I have no problem with the otherwise uncontrolled spaces, but the metered spaces on that are on Washington Street in front of the new building, I don't see how we could switch those over realistically.
that has to be done by ordinance.
Yeah.
I'm concerned that if we make this resident only, then the businesses would have concerns about parking for their customers. I understand that this is difficult and we have to balance the interests, but I'm concerned that if we make this resident.
If I may, but the businesses are also suffering from, because people are parking there all day long. They don't move. The enforcers, I don't think it's being applied down there because people stay there. They don't really move, and that's what it is. It's a congested area that do not allow anyone to park. They leave, especially now on weekends when we're going to have when Hunter happened. I mean, he was there for the whole day. The people were there for the whole day, and they cannot park.
And they should be ticketed and towed.
At least we can ask for more reinforcement of the traffic department.
We're talking about how many spaces here? What? Is it going to make a huge difference? Right, sorry for going off script, but the motion on the floor is to amend by Councilor Dominguez to amend and add Washington Street from Harbor Street to Dodge Street, east side only. Any further discussion? Councilor Terrio, this is second.
Thank you, Madam President. Sorry, but from on the east side of Washington, I'm just trying to think. From Harbor to Dodge, the only spaces that I'm aware of there might be one or two, but the only spaces that I can think of, because the traffic lane configuration there are, I think, just, I think those spaces are just metered spaces in that area. On Washington Street between Lafayette and Harbor, there are a number of spaces that are unmetered, and those could be, those could be designated as temporary resident only. We have metered spaces on the other side, on the western side of the street. Trying to look, I'm looking at the map right now, and there's only a couple of spaces, if that. I think there's like 4 or possibly 5 spaces in the map that I'm looking at with the current configuration that are affected from the way it's described on the east side of Harbor Street.
So I'm inclined to just proceed, and it's past 9 o'clock, and I would encourage Councilor Dominguez, if you want to bring in another order to do this, and maybe look into how this would impact the different uses in that area and whether it's metered or not metered, and just do some research so we are not spending a lot of time trying to figure this out on the spot. So the motion on the floor is to add Washington Street. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4 hands. All's opposed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't see Councilor McCarthy.
Oh. Sorry,
Was that opposed?
opposed. Sorry.
Okay.
On this one, I'm going to yield to the ward councilor on this one.
All right. On the amendment to add Washington Street from Harbor Street to Dodge Street, east side only, we have 10 councilors voting, 4 in the affirmative, 6, I know it's not a roll call, 6 in the negative. The motion does not carry. Any further discussion on the order
Madam President.
as amended? Councilor Sargent.
Thank you, Madam President. I don't make a motion, but I just want to ask if there's been any consideration given to adding Essex Street from Cambridge to Flint Street. I believe these signs are from 5 p.m. to 7 a.m. So I know there was some concern about the different businesses along the way, but it seems like more like at night. I read some of the signs, and usually they had no time on them, but now they're from 5 p.m. to 7 a.m. And I just want to ask if there's been any consideration to that and not belabor it if it's not the will of the ward councilor to move forward with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. I did have some conversations with the constituents, and our traffic parking director is just, there's too many different uses on that stretch. The library, the Athenaeum, the church that have funerals. I think it would be really painful to receive a parking ticket while you're attending a funeral at the church. I understand that the residents are not happy with that, but they can also park on side streets given that they qualify for the sticker. For resident sticker program, it's tough to juggle, but we have to take into consideration all the different uses in that stretch.
Thank you, Madam President. I must admit I didn't consider the church across from the library, so I'll yield. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the order as amended? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Torrio.
Yes.
Councilor Sargent.
Yes.
Councilor Riccardi.
Yes.
Councilor Krasnowski.
Yes.
Councilor Marcillo.
Yes.
Councilor McCarthy.
Yes.
Councilor Flynn.
Yes.
Councilor Dominguez.
Yes.
Councilor Dibble.
Yes.
And Councilor Madore.
Yes. On the order to add 6 streets for temporary October resident parking, we have 10 councilors voting, 10 affirmative, 9 negative, 1 absent. The matter carries. Committee reports. Councilor Torrio.
Thank you, Madam President. This one is withdrawn. We did not meet today.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Marcillo.
Thank you, Madam President. In City Council, October 14th, 2021, Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, to whom was referred the matter of home rule petition for additional all alcohol liquor license for Yahoo 57 Loring Ave, has considered said matter and would recommend that it remain in committee.
Thank you. On acceptance of the report, all those in favor? I see 10 hands. The matter carries. On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion, Councilor Marcillo.
Thank you, Madam President. So this one got a little bit trickier in the 2 weeks since we met the first time. We kept it in committee originally so that we could bring some guidelines into future use of the liquor license at that location. And just to remind the councilors that a home rule petition liquor license is tied to a specific address. It can't move around. It can't be bought by someone and used at a different location. So the question that the good at-large Councilor Sargent brought in originally was that this is a residential neighborhood and we don't want this to turn into, 10 years down the line, a large bar with a lot of a lot of people that come and hang out for hours watching football games. It is right next to a college. It's also right next to Rainbow Terrace, which is a heavily residential area. So we kept it in committee to see if the state would allow us to add guidelines on future use. And so the city solicitor did get the approval to do that. And so she did add a clause that would limit the occupancy at the location to 75 people, but also note that any use is controlled by the zoning enforcement officer, and is determined by the number of bathrooms and the size of the space. So keeping it at 75 people is a maximum. So then during the week, Councilor Sargent again brought up the fact that this is an R1 zoned neighborhood, and in our zoning, alcohol licenses are not allowed. So again, the city solicitor did a little bit more research on this, and the owner of Yahoo had gotten a special permit to open a restaurant without without the service of alcohol, and would need to amend that special permit to allow alcohol. Then we would have to also get this home rule petition for this alcohol license, and then he would have to go through the normal application and approval process to the licensing board. So we decided there were just so many questions, and unfortunately Ms. Renard couldn't join us at our meeting tonight, and so we chose to keep it in committee until either we can resolve the issues or the outstanding questions, or the owner of Yahoo gets this special permit to have alcohol consumption at this location. So he needs to do a little bit more research, or a little more work himself, in order to move through with this and to even be eligible for this home rule petition liquor license. That's a very long story, and a lot happened in 26 minutes today, so. And I yield.
Thank you. Any further discussion? We have a guest. Councilor Sargent.
Thank you, Madam President. Just to be short, I mean, there is simply no provision in our city government for a special permit to allow a liquor license. Liquor licenses, home rule petitions begin with the city council and then move to the state house, then come back to the licensing board. I've never ever heard of somebody giving a special permit that involved a liquor license. That just isn't in the ZBA's purview. Restaurants that serve food are allowed in a B1. The most they could get is a special permit to do a B1 use, which they have, and only because there was a business use grandfathered there. But there was no liquor license grandfather there. That's a totally new use, and I've never seen anything as far as the ZBA or any other entity approving a special permit for home rule petition liquor license. So that begins with us, and then comes back to us, and then goes to the licensing board. So I just cannot see that happen. And if we set that precedent, I think we're in deep trouble as far as future applications. And I think we're going down a line that isn't the right way to go. And I don't think it's anywhere near the legal right way to go. So thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion on adoption of recommendation to keep the matter in committee? All those in favor? I see 9 hands. All those opposed? Mayor carries. Communication from city officials.
The following election order was submitted by the city clerk.
Councilor Sargent.
Thank you, Madam President.
Waive the reading.
Yes, I'll go along with that. I'll just do the City of Salem and City Council, October 14, 2021, ordered that the meeting of the qualified voters of the City of Salem be held in the several voting precincts in the city at the polling places designated hereinafter on Tuesday, November 2nd, 2021, for the purpose of casting votes in the city biennial election for the election of candidates for the following offices. Mayor for the term of 4 years, 4 councilors at large for the term of 2 years, council of wards 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 for the term of 2 years, and 3 members of the school committee for the term of 4 years. And be it further ordered that the following places be and hereby are designated as polling places for the said meetings. And I'll take the waiving of that, the next part of it. And followed by, and be it further ordered that the polls at said meetings be opened at 7 o'clock a.m. and closed at 8 o'clock p.m. and that the city clerk be instructed to post this notice as required by law. Under discussion. I move adoption by roll call vote, please.
Councilor Sargent moves for adoption by roll call vote. Under discussion.
Thank you, Madam President. Not a lot of discussion. These are just going along with our election every 2 years, and everything looks like it's in line, and I recommend adoption.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Torrio,
Yes.
Councilor Sargent,
Yes.
Councilor Riccardi,
Yes.
Councilor Kwasniewski,
Yes.
Councilor Marcillo,
Yes.
Councilor McCarthy,
Yes.
Councilor Flynn,
Yes.
Councilor Dominguez,
Yes.
Councilor Dibble,
Yes.
and Councilor Madore.
Yes. On the election order, we have 10 councilors voting, 10 affirmative, and the negative, 1 absent. The matter carries. On to page 30, right?
Correct.
Thank you. Petitions.
A petition from National Grid and Verizon to install one jointly owned pole on Lafayette Street.
Hearing ordered October 28, 2021. Further petitions.
We have a petition from residents of Chestnut Street to hold a block party on October 31st, 2021 from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m.
I'm going to go with Councilor Dominguez.
You repeat, I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
Councilor McCarthy, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that this petition for a block party be granted on your behalf.
Thank you. Councilor McCarthy moves that this be granted. All those in favor? Oh, any discussion? No discussion? All those in favor? I see 10 hands. All those opposed? The party is granted. I love saying that. Further petitions.
And the following license applications for public guides, limos, vehicle for hire, taxi operators, sorry.
Councilor
Thank you, Madam President. I move that these be granted.
Councilor Marcillo move that these be granted. All those in favor? See 10 hands. All those opposed? Matter carries. Further petitions.
We have one license application for taxi operator.
Councilor Marcillo.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that this be denied.
Councilor Marcillo move that this be denied. All those in favor? I see 10 hands. All those opposed? The matter carries. Further petitions.
We have a request from the following taxi operator for a hearing on the denial of the license.
Councilor Marcillo.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that this be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs to hold an executive session.
Councilor Marcillo move that this be referred to Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs to hold an executive session. All those in favor? See 10 hands. All those opposed? The matter carries. Further petitions.
We have one drain layer contract operator license application.
Councilor Marcillo.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that this be granted.
Councilor Marcillo move that this be granted. All those in favor? See 10 hands. All those opposed? Seeing none, the matter carries. Further petitions.
We have 3 claims.
Councilor Marcillo.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that this be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs.
Councilor Marcillo move that this be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs. All those in favor? See 10 hands. All those opposed? Matter carries. Final petition.
We have one drain layer bond.
Councilor Marcelo.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that this be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs and returned approved.
Councilor Marcelo moves that this be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs and return approved. All those in favor? I see 10 hands. All those opposed, the matter carries. Finished business.
We have the second passage of two traffic ordinance amendments.
Can I take both up together? Or
I did, so I put it, if you want to separate it, that's fine.
okay. Councilor Flynn.
Thank you, Madam President. I would recommend a request if we could split these up, two separate readings in discussions on them.
Councilor Flynn, go ahead with the first one.
In the year 2021, an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to traffic, stop sign. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, Chapter 42, Section 49, obedience is isolated stop signs is hereby amended by adding the following. Gable Circle, northwesterly bound traffic on Gable Circle at Puritan Road. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect as provided by City Charter. And I move for adoption for second passage by roll call vote.
Councilor Flynn moves for adoption for second passage by roll call vote. Under discussion.
No discussion on this one.
Thank you. On Councilor Flynn's motion for adoption for second passage, seeing no further discussion, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Torrio.
Yes.
Councilor Sargent.
Yes.
Councilor Riccardi.
Yes.
Councilor Prosnewski.
Yes.
Councilor Marcelo.
Yes.
Councilor McCarthy.
Yes.
Councilor Flynn. Oh, Councilor Flynn, sorry.
Sorry, yes.
Councilor Dominguez.
Yes.
Councilor Dibble.
Yes.
And Councilor Madore.
Yes. On the second and final passage of the traffic stop sign, we have 10 councilors voting, 10 in the affirmative, none in the negative, 1 absent. The matter carries. Further unfinished business.
We have the second passage of another traffic ordinance amendment.
Councilor Flynn.
Thank you, Madam President. In the year 2021, an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to traffic parking prohibited on certain streets, be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, Chapter 42, Section 51, hereby amended by adding the following. Summit Street, westerly side beginning 190 feet southwest of Butler Street, running for 40 feet, no parking anytime from December 1st to March 31st. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect as provided by City Charter. And I would like to have this referred to Government Services.
Councilor Flynn moved that the matter be referred to the Committee on Government Services. Under discussion.
Yes. After our last meeting with the first passage, all of a sudden, a lot of people apparently weren't aware of this on Summit Street. And many of the neighbors got in contact with me, and I started reaching out and finding out some more information. And this would definitely be a hardship for a lot of neighbors on that street. It's a narrow street. You can't park on one side, and there's just not enough spots there that we would have this seasonal loss of a couple spaces due to a person that wanted to be able to plow the snow out. This same condition has happened to several other neighbors over the years. It's existed like this, and one of the neighbors especially reached out to many people about this, and unfortunately it went to the junk emails, so people did miss that. So I think we need to slow down on this one, have the neighbors be able to discuss this in committee and express their views. So that is my recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. So typically for the ordinance, we would refer it to OLA instead of Government Services. Is there?
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay. So Councilor Flynn's revised motion is to refer the matter to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs.
It would need to be co-posted, Madam President.
Yes.
Co-posted.
Yes, co-posted, correct.
Co-posted. Should we take a roll call or Madam City Clerk, just vote? All right. On the motion to refer to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, all those in favor? 10 hands, all those opposed? Seeing none, the matter carries. Anything else? Counselor Sargent.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for adjournment, please.
Counselor Sargent moves for adjournment. All those in favor? See 10 hands. All opposed? See none. We are adjourned. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.